So this is part one of the fractions, decimals, and percent section of your notes. This section is going to focus on just converting fractions, decimals, and percents. I put a couple of pictures at the start of your notes just for if you are a visual learner. So like just depending on what you want to start with and what you're turning it into, it tells you what to do. So say you start with the decimal, if we're looking at this left picture, and you want to turn it to a percent, it just says move the decimal to the right. And then, so you can start wherever you want and go to wherever you want. The picture on the right kind of does the same thing. Say you want to turn a fraction into a percent, it says multiply by 100 and simplify, and then add a percent sign. So it tells you what to do. But I'm also going to write instructions for each section. So for the first section, we are given a percent and they want us to write it as a decimal. So our instructions are going to be to move the decimal left 2 places. So some of these we don't see a decimal. So if I look at number 1, I have 30. If you don't see the decimal, it's at the end of the number, so it's right here. It's invisible. So we're going to move it 2 places to the left, so it brings it to the front. So now it's 0.30. And you can stick a 0 out in front if you want. You don't need to. You can leave it as 0.30 if you want. Number 2, again, don't see a decimal, so I know it's at the end. So we're going to move it twice. Some people only move it once and they mess up. When we move it twice, this gives us an open spot right here, so that's 0. So it's 0.09. And again, you can put a 0 in front of that if you want. For number 3, our decimal is at the end. Move it twice to get 1.15. And then last one, number 4, we do see the decimal, so move it twice to the left to get 0.235. So all of those, it's very little work to show, but I do want to see the little lines showing where you are moving the decimal. The next 4 is the complete opposite. We're given a decimal, we want to turn it into a percent. So to do this, we are going to move the decimal right 2 spaces. Okay, so number 1, I have 0.452, so I'm going to move it right 2 places. So now it's 45.2. Number 2, move it right 2 places. Okay, so I'm left with 0.6 or 0.6, or you could have all those zeros out in front if you want. That is up to you. Number 3, 2 places to the right. Oops, did not mean to do that. Okay, 2 places to the right to get 478. And I forgot to put percent signs on these. They're all percent, so you need to label it that way. The last one, number 4, I don't see a decimal, so I know it's at the very end. Move it 2 places to the right, so we have 2 open places for placeholders, so we stuck some zeros there. So this is going to be 10,000%. Okay, and then the next 4 problems, we're going to write these as a fraction. So they are all percents. So percents are always out of 100, so we're going to put the number that they give us over 100, then simplify. And another way to think about simplifying is reducing. So you want to divide the numerator and denominator by the same number, that's reducing. So for number 1, we have 25%, so I have 25. You always put it over 100. And then we can reduce that by dividing both numerator and denominator by 25 to get 1/4. If you didn't know that you could do 25 immediately, start with 5 and then work your way up, since the numerator ends in 5 and the denominator ends in 0. Number 2, we have 70 over 100. We can divide both of those by 10 to get 7 over 10. Number 3, put 3 over 100, so always over 100 when it's a a percent, and we can't reduce that, so that one's done. Number 4, 5 over 100. So I can divide both numbers by 5 to get 1 over 20. Okay, the last section that we're going to do for this video is, actually, no, I'll do this on the second part. So please start watching part 2.